The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Fall River Mayoral Candidates Forum. I'm Alan Oliver, the moderator for tonight's Candidates Forum. I'm a leader with UIA and I attend Bethel AME Church. I would like to start off by thanking Good Shepherd Parish for the following use of this space this evening and providing refreshments. Also, thank you to the community partners who share their resources tonight. Before we begin, I would like to invite Father Hervé from Our Lady of Fall River Catholic Community to start us off with a blessing.
Good evening, everyone. So let us, as a son and daughter of the same Father, let us silence our heart, ask God to give us His strength and wisdom, mostly for those who will run for position in order to care for the common good. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. May God our Father pour over us His wisdom and strength, especially those who will run for position for the good of the whole city. May through this commitment, there be light that will shine in the darkness. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you. Welcome to all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Tonight is about educating ourselves as voters and hearing where the candidates for mayor stand on issues that are crucial to our community. The mayor is a powerful official of our city. The role of mayor is to set priorities for the city and represent the community publicly. The mayor oversees city departments, budgets, services, and works with the city council to create and implement laws, ordinances, and policies. Mayors act as spokesmen for the cities in times of crisis, celebration, and community progress. They also partner with community groups, businesses, and other levels of government to improve the quality of life in for the city residents. In the last municipal election for mayor in 2023, there were just under 60,000 registered voters in Fall River. But on election day, only a little over 11,000 people came out to vote. This was a 19% voter turnout. Let's compare that to last year's state election for president in 2024. Fall River had just over 60,000 registered voters on election day. Around 30,000 people voted in the city of Fall River. The voter turnout this time was 49%. We need to do better in getting the residents of Fall River to get out and vote. Let's get to know our candidates for mayor so that we can make informed decisions and can hold our mayor accountable for their important role. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you. Tonight's forum is sponsored by United Interfaith Action of Southeastern Mass, also known as UIA, and the Coalition for Social Justice Education Fund, also known as CSJ Ed Fund. All forum partners are 501c3 organizations, and this event is a nonpartisan and does not in any way endorse or oppose any candidate for their political affiliation. UIA was founded in 1996, organizing at the grassroots level to put faith into action in the South Coast gateway cities of Fall River and New Bedford. We develop communities members into community leaders, putting our values into action for social justice. We are currently working on issues of housing, education, and healthcare here in Fall River. CSJ Ed Fund is a grassroots organization based in the gateway cities of Southeastern Mass. We are committed to including community members in policy decisions that are relevant to their everyday lives by utilizing individuals from diverse backgrounds and empowering marginalized communities. We advocate for equality and positive change in such areas as voter rights, affordable housing, and climate justice. This year's election, municipal election, this means there are only two candidates. There are only candidates for mayor, city council, and the school committee. In municipal elections, there are no political party primary candidates run as themselves and not as part of a political party. There will be two different opportunities to vote for mayor in Fall River. On Tuesday, September 16th, is the mayoral preliminary. On this day, the two candidates who get the most votes will move on to the ballot for the general election, which will be held on Tuesday, November the 4th. The election for city council and school committee candidates will only take place on Tuesday, November the 4th. All candidates running for mayor have been invited to participate in tonight's forum, and we welcome, in no particular order, incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan, Carlos Caesar, Gabriel Boomer Amaral, and Michael Vander. Prior to ending his campaign, Christopher Sylvier had confirmed his attendance. At this time, I'd like to introduce the two people who will be asking questions this evening. First is Laura Bradley, who is a UIA leader and attends His Providence Church. She is also the executive director of Thrive for Humanity. Secondly is Al Arujo, who is a UIA leader and attends St. Mary's Cathedral and the Unitarian Church of Fall River. I will now turn it over to Laura for instructions on tonight's forum.
The candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to each question that's presented. Tricia Dubiel will be our timekeeper for the evening. She has time cards that will inform you when you have 30 seconds to end your comments and when you have run out of time. The moderator will also verbally remind the candidates of time if needed. A reminder that this is a forum, not a debate, and we respectfully ask that the candidates give answers based on their platforms and values. We are showing up in a spirit to listen and to hear from each candidate, and it's not a debate with candidates attacking one another. Please do not use your response to smear or discredit another candidate. If you do start speaking against another candidate, we will interrupt and redirect you to sharing your platform. We want to hear where you stand. To be fair, candidates will give their answers in a rotating order. We will alternate the order with each question. We also ask the forum participants and the audience to adhere to our norm of respect for each candidate and for one another. We will not tolerate booing or heckling from the audience. We will be given one warning, and if you continue, we will ask you to leave. We will now give each candidate That's you, Alan.
Oh, you keep going. Oh, my goodness. Where are we? Okay. No. Okay, all right. We will now give each candidate 2 minutes for an opening statement. Please remember that this is a forum and statements should focus on your own platform. We've decided to in alphabetical order by last name. So we'll start with Boomer Amaral.
I can turn it on now? Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gabriel Boomer Amaral, and as you know, I'm running to be your next mayor. Like so many of you, I was born and raised here. I not only live here, I was educated here, I volunteer here. Everything that I've done is here. Even when a short stint in Somerset for my daughter from middle school, I still always did all my volunteer here. I was vice president of the Fall River Falcons. I've coached multiple sports. I do a lot of it here. So this is always home. Fall River is always home. And like so many of you, I raised my family here. I have children in our school systems here. Everything that we deal with on a daily basis, that you deal with on a daily basis, I'm involved in. I'm part of it. I want what's best for my family, and in doing what's best for my family, in turn, it's always going to translate to doing what's best for all our families. If I want the best schools for my kids, I want the best school for your kids. If I want safer streets for my kids, I want them safe for your kids. I am you. I'm a single dad of 6 children, so I know what it's like to see what groceries cost, what fuel costs, what life costs, and rental costs. I understand it all. I'm here to fight with you, not against you, not against the city council, not against the school committee. I'm here to fight with you. We want our city to be best for everyone. There's no only these people or those people. We all have to live here. So on September 16th, I am looking for your vote so I can represent the whole city. And on November 4th, hopefully you'll give me that opportunity as well. Thank you.
Next will be Carlos Caesar.
First of all, I want to thank the organizers for this event. It is a great opportunity for people to actually know about the candidates. I was not born here. I became a citizen by option. I decided, and probably the best thing I did in my life. I came from Portugal, from the Azores, Ponta Delgada, and I located here. I had my business here, worked different jobs, most of the times 2 jobs at a time, and became involved on a community in different organizations. For the years, I tried to give back as much I could without forgetting that I had a family and I did have to raise 2 kids too. But 2 years ago, I decided to run for office. And the reason I decided to run for office was because every administration and every campaign, people come out and try to help, give administrations new ideas, give recommendations, and all those ideas and recommendations go on the trash 2 months after a mayor becomes elected. So I decided 2 years ago to run, not because I didn't care who was going to run. I decided to run. And I'm going to do my best, and I will have opportunity to tell you why I'm running for Mayor of Fall River. But I'm out of time. Thank you.
Okay. Next will be Paul Coogan.
Thanks, Alan. I also want to thank the UIA and Good Shepherd for hosting this forum tonight. It's another opportunity to talk directly to the voters. I want to talk a little bit about my background. I've been elected mayor 3 times. I grew up on Prospect Street, one of 11 children. All of us graduated from Durfee. I graduated from Bristol Community College, and I graduated from UMass Dartmouth. I got into politics when I retired from being a vice principal at Durfee High School. After a few decades of that, I decided to get into politics. And I was fortunate enough to top the ticket my first time running for school committee. So the voters in the city have been very, very kind to me. I did 3 terms there, and then I saw the opportunity to do more work and lead the city to a better place as your mayor. And again, the voters have been very kind to me, and I was elected. The work we go on with every day in the government center is all day long. We have a great team down there, whether it's public safety, DCM, education, all trying to move the city forward and make Fall River a better place to live. If anybody followed the article in the Globe this week, they talked about Fall River again as a very hot spot community on the South Coast. Fall River is moving up, and we're doing it with a broad range of programs across the city. I mean, just driving here tonight, I was fortunate enough to come by Dwelly and Kilburn Street. And let's look, as you go down Dwelly Street, we have a new child care center. We're redoing the Armory. We got new homes on the corner of Kilburn. The mill's been redone. Things are going on in every corner of our city, and I'm very proud that the voters gave me the opportunity to work with you to make Fall River a better place to live, and I'd appreciate it if you gave me another vote in the primary next Tuesday. Thank you.
And next will be Michael Vandal.
I wish I would have the opportunity to become mayor. Like going to college. I feel like I'm giving a speech for college, that sometimes it doesn't always come out right, but I'd appreciate the opportunity to become mayor, that if I could get in. I was born and raised in Fall River. I have 13 brothers and sisters that I'm sure that in the background, if I ever become mayor, it'll be a little bit more than the budget, like things around Christmas time, different things for different religions going on in the City Hall, family-oriented type activities, plus the budget, taking care of that. I would appreciate your vote come election day, and let's see what happens. All I can do is do my best, and thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opening remarks. We will now ask questions that have been submitted by UIA leaders and members of the community. If your question does not get asked tonight, we encourage you to reach out to the candidates individual to get your questions answered. Al Arujo will be asking our first question.
So as described earlier, we're going to be rotating the individuals who begin to answer the question. So this rotation will be Carlos, Paul, Michael, and then Gabriel. So Carlos Caesar will begin. What do you see as the most urgent issue facing Fall River today, and how will you address it in your first year?
Well, public safety is the invitation for everybody to move into our city. Public safety is the real for our community to feel safe, go out, and enjoy their city they pay their tax on. How we make it? We full funded, with no question about. I had mentioned this before, and I will keep repeating until I get the job done. the first people to get on the table for discussion on the budget and get the money will be public safety. Fire department, police department, it's no question about. After, they should be the first people on the table to get money. Without those two, and education, it's the third part. But without those two, I don't think the city can move forward. We will always have problems. And it's funny because the budget was done, and a month after the budget was approved, and there was no money for public safety, that's it, no more money, we have a big problem in the city with cost 10 lives. And in 24 hours, we found $1.5 million, which with the simple visit in 24 hours after, we got the visit from the governor with another $1.5 million. So the first appropriation, 1.5 were talked back. So I think that we cannot play games with public safety, and they should be the priority of the city.
Yeah, and please don't hesitate to ask me to repeat the question if you need to, okay?
Difficult because they ask you to look at the functions of a city and pit one against the other. It's my position that the city is a big, giant pinwheel with all parts having equal access. Maybe some have more important times than others, but all of them are equally as important, whether it's infrastructure, education, public safety, homeless issues, affordable housing. When you have to prioritize them, it's very difficult because when you're actually doing the job, they come at you every single day. And as Carlos said, public safety is of course important to everybody, but so is the 11,000 students that are going through our schools right now, whether it's pre-K to 12. They're equally as important. And so are the people that we can't find housing for because there's no spots right now. These are all issues that come to the city. I get calls on roads that need repaving. So you have, when you're in the office, you have to prioritize where the money's going and how you can do best for what's in the city. And there are many, many issues. So that's how I look at my job every single day. We look at what we have to work with today, how do we make the city a better place to live, and then go to work on that. No matter what the area is, they're equally as important when I look at how we divide up the work that goes on the 6th floor.
The biggest problem here is working with the budget. Sometimes they should, at some point, they should open up different programs for the different amounts of money that they need for the different programs. And if they get any money for the programs, like for education, for housing, for safety reasons, if they could raise money separately, they could be separate from the mayor's position himself, because he's restricted as to how much money he has, major priorities. So there's a big problem there. So you're just doing what you can do with what you have. So sometimes you have to go a little above. And this is where they should create websites to start that type of activity, because there's a lot of different cuts in the system, and there'll be restraints. You got to do what you have. You can't spend more than what you have. Thank you.
Hello. I'm positive if you go around the room, everybody's got a different number one answer, right? What's urgent to me isn't necessarily urgent to you or to you. They're all urgent. Everybody's issues are urgent. We have a multitude of issues in the city and very few positives at the moment. There's here and there's, but realistically, the issues that nobody's more important than the other. But without going through the budget and going through the audit and finding the money to be able to address them, all that money's allocated, so the issues are going to stay if we don't figure out another way. If we don't reorganize, we don't renegotiate, we don't figure it out. So we have to figure that part out first so we can address it. You know, is public safety most important? Sure. But are homeless people dying on the streets important? Are people's lives more important than dealing with what's going on in education? I would say so. But in my mind, education is that important too. So they're all important. There's no one issue above the other. But going through the budget, going through the audit, you know, anybody that goes in there, aside from the mayor, who's been doing the job, well, he's in the position anyway, if you're going through that job, you're going to be fed through a fire hose. So there's going to be a lot coming at you, right? So we have to make sure that we can reorganize and do it the right way to address all of the issues. Obviously, there's going to be an order of precedence, but I think lives come first. So public safety, homeless, you know, those are big issues to deal with. We need our people off the streets. This is New England. We know what the cold weather's like. We know what things are like. So we don't want people dying on the streets. We have drug epidemics. We have addiction problems. We have everything. We have, God only knows how many issues in the school system. So we have to address it, but without the finances, we can't address any of them. So I don't have a top issue per se, but going through the budget, going through the audit is definitely going to be a big way to fix all of them. And without it, we can't do it. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Thank you. And Laura Bradley has our next question.
For the next set of questions, we will begin with Paul Coogan. Do you support the development of more affordable housing, and are you willing to consider having the City of Fall River partner with nonprofits to utilize empty schools or mills to provide affordable rental units?
Absolutely. We're doing that right now. We're talking with some people that are interested in the old Duval School, where we think we're going to be looking to do something with an over 55 income adjusted rental units there. We're right now in the process of moving on with our Fall River Housing Authority, where we are able to get 20 more vouchers for apartments across the city. We've brought in almost $3 million in home ARP money, which allows us to keep people in their places. We reduced our vacant or abandoned properties from 150 to maybe 40 units. And we recently purchased a 16-room SRO, which means almost like a rooming house on Rock Street, so that we have a place to get people out of the weather and into some place that's warm and safe for them this winter. The City of Fall River, as everyone knows, is probably about 30% subsidized right now. My hue and cry as I look at this issue across the Commonwealth is there's a law which says all communities should have 10% of their housing affordable. I firmly believe that the communities that don't want to meet that threshold should be giving money back to cities like Fall River, which do 3 times what we're asked to do and still continue on. We will do more as much as we can. And those towns that don't want to carry their share should be able to put some money back in our pots. You look at what's going on right now on Pleasant Street, whether it's going to be the Duval School, whether it's the 2-family house with affordable rents on Thomas Street, whether it's the 6 units on Pleasant Street that a Fall River developer's going to pay. That must be somebody that's not voting for me. Whether it's the affordable units on Pleasant Street that we're going to have, we are always looking for a place to put people where they can afford the rents. Thank you very much.
The next order will be Michael Vandell, then Gabriel Boomer Amaral, and then finally Carlos Caesar. If you need for me to ask the question again, just ask.
You learn from experience. That's the best way to say it. I'm sure when he walked in the job, he knew nothing about it. That how to use the money in such a way, all the titles and given all the different parts of laws of that, because I had business law in college. So that's a job with experience. Then again, there's different approaches that you could take to receive housing. Again, something online so people could donate in this particular area. Again, in all areas, that because there's still going to be a problem with because of the budget cuts and all of that. So just being very ambitious, and by using the business law that I learned in college, I believe that I can improve on that. And I give you a good little speech once I get into that. But right now, I'll just go idle. Huh. Thank you.
I don't know that more affordable housing is any more helpful than more market rate housing. I don't think either of those are bringing money into the city and helping relieve the taxpayers. However, I am a big advocate on 55 and over communities and getting our elderly back together where they belong. I don't like what I see in the housing units where we have, 70, 80, 90-year-old, defenseless ladies. No offense, but they're in these housing units with 20-somethings who these ladies are afraid to even go do laundry. I've spent all week so far, and I'm still finishing the rest of the week. I've been at 6 of our 10 housing units, our elderly community housing units, and they're afraid. The common consensus is they're afraid. So I would be in favor as long as it's going to be directed to that community. I think our elderly have gone way too long and been forgotten way too long. So affordable housing for the elderly, those, you're talking about people who worked when minimum wage was $2.75, $3, so their Social Security is pennies compared to what today's people can afford and when they get Social Security. So they seem to be forgotten because they don't seem to have the money to keep up with the Joneses, and that's not fair to them. So affordable housing for them, I would probably consider much easier than just affordable housing just because. Same thing with market rate housing. I don't believe we need any more market rate housing. I think we need to help the homeowners themselves be able to build their wealth, create properties on their own, and I think the rents portion will take care of itself as people are not paying $1 million for a property and their costs are lower, and also working with the budget, obviously, so we can lower the cost. I don't think the average homeowner wants to rip people off, but their costs go up. Everybody's costs go up, so we need to fix that.
Okay, on the affordable housing, it's amazing what election year can do to a candidate, because for the past 5 years, Mr. Corgan was very public saying that, no affordable housing. He got $87 million from APA, not $1 used for affordable housing. He got millions of dollars available from the state and federal.
Excuse me.
And nothing was used.
Carlos?
Yes.
We're going to have to redirect you. We just want you to answer the question personally. So
yes,
what the incumbent mayor is doing right now.
I'm just saying
so
that
we would like
was
for you
money
to
available.
redirect.
Was money available? Never you would use.
But we want
I
to,
will use.
Carlos. We want to be able to hear your response, what you would do if you are for affordable housing, if you're going to partner. Do you want me to reread the question?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I know I just need 10 seconds. I will use every single dollar that becomes available for affordable housing. That's my answer.
Yeah, and actually to bring down, draw down a little bit more, you guys already touched on the next question already. So within the current housing crisis situation, right, individuals with disabilities and seniors, right, have definite accessible housing difficulties with respect to income, right, because of the subsidies are being capped. So what this question is how do you feel that we can, as a city, deal with those problems? And we'll start with Mike Vandal, and then we'll go to Gabriel and Caesar and Paul.
Reassess what deductions that they receive, because they have to pay it at a certain percentage of their income, 30% of their income. So that should be relooked, because if they have expenses, that means that if they have expenses, it could exceed the rent that, so that has to be readjusted, re-looked at from time to time, and be compassionate, because the person's got a limited income. When your income is limited, it doesn't take much to overflow the tub. That's it. When the tub is overflowed, you're going to be evicted. I'll let you be.
So I want to work with housing, with Mr. Dion, whoever's there. I want to work with HUD. I want to get back to our 55 and over communities. Our elderly need to be handled with care. We need to do that first. So I think once we establish safer communities for all of our elderly, maybe we use 3 of the 10 that we have, and that fits the elderly, or again, it depends on the population. I don't have the exact numbers on the population, but I do know that some are much worse than others. And while I was there at one of them yesterday, I'm watching, a lady point out, watch, here it comes, and literally pointing out that this gentleman's gonna go to a car, he's gonna pick this up, he's gonna go back to his park. They're petrified, right? So I am here to say that I will make sure that the elderly community is addressed. We are going to do everything in our power to fight to get it back that way. I know it's some paperwork. I know HUD has to agree. It's a much larger than the mayor can do. But I think we have the people in place that genuinely want to take care of our elderly, and I don't see anybody giving me a fight on that. So I would definitely look to get the elderly separated, situated, and have those specific for them. And then we can deal with the rest of the housing and whoever else is coming in with SSI and all the other benefits that they get, the younger generation, even in the high rises. God forbid some tragic happens, we can't save everybody. We can't even reach past an 11th floor with the apparatus we have. So why are elderly people who are limited, bedridden, immobile, up that high in high rises anyway? So we shouldn't have that. If you're able-bodied, you go up top. Let's start readjusting to protect them. Thank you.
I was happy to make negotiations to get one of the mills on the Flint neighborhoods to 55 and older. That was a compromise that I had to work with the owners, and the project is there, and it's a beautiful project. It's 55 and older, but then I had to fight because somebody was building 36 condos right next door, and they had to use the same driveway. So how frustrated it is for us to work with the 55 community, put them safe there, a lot of them in walkers and chairs, electric chairs, and then this very small piece of land, and they want to fit 56 houses there for any age. So that's a problem. That's a problem that the houses are done. They're going to start getting sold or rented. But I think from the city, more needs to be done. If we really want to our elderly to be safe, we need to provide not just the home they are living, but the surrounding areas too. That's our responsibility and should be the responsibility of the mayor. Thank you.
So what are your plans for dealing with the current housing crisis, specifically ensuring that individuals with disabilities and seniors with accessibility problems have affordable options within the city?
As we talked about on the question prior, that's a very challenging question. The best thing we can do, when you look at what's going on in our housing authority, thousands and thousands of people on a wait list. Our Section 8 vouchers, they're working on applications from 8 or 10 years ago because the pile is so high. There's a real shortage of housing across the Commonwealth. And from the last debates we had in 23, someone would say, well, why don't you take the money? Why don't you take the money? I would take the money, but the money could not be used for Fall River residents. It was whoever's next on the list. And that's the problem that's going on in the Housing Authority right now. When they wanted to renovate those 15 units at Maple Gardens, they were worried because they said, we will fix these up in 1 or 2 weeks to get people in them if we can put Fall River residents in. But it doesn't work that way. You have to call someone from Holyoke. You have to call someone from Quincy. So housing in Fall River might not be just helping Fall River. We may be helping other communities. So one of the things we're working on with both the schools we're looking at rehabbing now is benefits for Fall River residents. The Thomas Street property was Fall River. I'm hoping when we get done with the Pleasant Street property, it's Fall River. Our focus is going to be on the units we do create, and we're building about 58 right now across the city. Those are going to be for Fall River residents. That's going to be our focus. We're not going to go to the Housing Authority, which has different criteria, and use their list. Where we can, we're going to put Fall River people in affordable places. A friend of mine just did a house down on Rodman Street. Those rents are affordable, and he just did it because he wanted to help the community, not because he got a subsidy. Those are the people we're looking to partner with that want to pitch in. Thank you.
My question is going to be directed to you first, Boomer, and then Carlos, then Paul Coogan, and then Michael Vendow. What is your long-term vision for addressing chronic homelessness in Fall River, and what steps will you take to get us there?
Oh, only 2 minutes, huh? So homelessness is a multitude of issues. You know, people can sit there and say, oh, it's just crime, oh, it's just drug addiction or alcohol addiction, or it's mental illness, it's poverty. Yeah, it's all of the above. So you have to address it systematically. So I do have plans that I want to put into play and attempt. I am in talks with some medical providers about providing mental health to deal with that part of the issue. I am also in talks with investors to provide suitable housing, temporary suitable housing, smaller units, micro units. I have friends that did this out in Dorchester, and what they did is they created micro units, and they can charge a much cheaper rent to help people get ahead while they're off the streets. Because we do have a lot of people living in cars, and they're not considered homeless because they have shelter, and that's the wrong answer. Anybody who doesn't have a home and basic necessities is homeless, in my opinion. So you're going to have to deal with it at different levels. The addiction portion, we do have options. We have shelters, we have that, but we also have a defiance of a select few who don't like the rules. They don't want to go without getting, their fix or whatever it may be. And we have to stop coddling it. We have to stop coddling that situation, and I think it's time to address it a little bit more aggressively instead of enabling it. If we're looking at, I believe they said the number was around $3 million that we're paying into homeless every year, and the problem just consistently gets worse. I don't think throwing more money at it's the issue. I think we're throwing the money in the wrong direction. So I want to utilize that money to create these units, to create the mental health facilities and have them manned by either Primacare, South Coast, whoever's going to man it, and maybe give them the break so they don't have to pay the overhead, but they can help us clean up the issue. So there's lots of different ways to attack that. And in 2 minutes, I can't give you the whole plan, but I do have a plan for each of the categories that come to mind when it comes to homelessness.
Okay, the problem with the homeless is it's all different ways to fix it. Right now, they are treating like one shirt fits all. That's not the truth. We have homeless that just need a roof over their head because they're still working, but they cannot afford a $2,000 rent. Then we have those that have addiction that we send them and we spend the money, send them to rehab. They spend 2 weeks there, and then they come out, and it's done. They're back on the street again. So it's no plan. It's no longer plan. We need to identify the individuals and try to help them and create different programs for different situations. I have no problem with tiny houses for those that are looking for a roof over their heads, but they don't have too much money to pay rent. And if we put the $3 million, $3.5 million that we spend with homelessness, with a plan and a long-term plan, I think is the best solution for the problem. Because right now, we just paying people, asking money every year. We have $3 million this year, 3.5 next year, and we just keep spending with no longer plan that we can follow and see the solution. Are we going to resolve every solution, everybody? No. But if we can control it, it's a big help for the city and for all the residents that are living outside right now.
During my 6 years as mayor, we've attacked the homeless issue full force. The $3.3 million that's being referred to on the stage, $2.2 million of that every year goes to permanent supportive housing, where we house people, we help them with their rents. It's not for the homeless, it's to make sure people have a home. We developed the first street outreach team. We created a FAST team for homeless and opioid users, and that's made up of a clinician, recovery coaches, stats, and a police officer. We recently received a $2 million SAMHSA grant to help us with this. We received a $500,000 Connect and Protect grant from the Department of Justice. This is not coming from the Florida taxpayers. We created the Enhancement Without Encampment program, which has taken 100 people off the streets, given them a chance at detox, a step-down program, and into sober living for 6 months. Those statistics on that program, 40 have, since they've left the program, remained clean, 25 are still in sober living, and the other 30-something went back to their ways. But that's a 65% recovery rate for that program. We created the first permanent overflow shelter. We purchased Gelato. We met with South Coast Hospital yesterday. We're going to have them logging on. It's like a program where whenever someone touches a homeless person or works with them, it's logged in so we know they're getting the services necessary to help them. We assisted in closing encampments. We're now moving to the bottom of Kennedy Park. We took 3 40-yard bins out of there last week, and now we're going to go down there with a professional team to finish cleaning it up. We created an overflow shelter at the Baptist Church, and we worked with Stepping Stone extensively to get them to go from 30 beds to 50 so we have more places in the winter for our homeless. It's a full-time job almost, and we have some great, great people working on it, and I respect their efforts, and they're helping our city. Thank you.
When I was 3 years, like in 1968, you could buy a house for $3,000. That today, you could pay that house in 2 months if you pay $1,500 rent. So there should be help with credit, first month's rent, long-term to be able to afford it on a fixed income or rising, not where you pay off a whole house going back to 1958. You pay it off in 2 months. That's crazy. That the same way with the food, the same way. But the mayor can't address the food in that respect. That's adjusted by the federal government with the food stamps. But there could be other programs like the churches and stuff like that helping out and stuff like that. But namely the home base. The home base was hit very hard on people with fixed income since the eve of the train station and its. I'll let it be. Now that'll be the end. And thank you.
So great answers. Thank you, everyone. So again, continuing along the subject area, right? So within your administration, would you be open to consider zoning changes, that would, let's say, allow tiny houses or maybe some other alternative to sort of alleviate some of these problems? And we'll start with Carlos.
Sure, I will. I'm not against tiny houses. It's a way to start. It's a way to reset somebody's life. Give a second chance to somebody to start over again. That's the process. So I don't know why people will be against it. That's the way we start a project and return around those that are in need. After that, they probably will pick it up from there and buy a bigger house. But they're struggling and they need help. But you're right, we need to change some laws. We need to change some things around. Just like the example that I give you. If it's a 55 community, let's keep it that way. We should never allow, especially if you're going to use the same driveway. That should never be allowed. But yeah, I will support 100%.
If you know, the state just changed some of the regulations for housing, which allows you to have a 500 square foot unit on your property without going through zoning. We haven't had a lot of those requests yet in Fall River, but we did have a few roll across my desk the other day. The tiny houses, obviously that's a good idea, but the problem is location. Where do they go? Where do they fit in? It's a real struggle to get appropriate land. I know many people bring up the Watuppa Heights site, but at the same time, that's owned by the Fall River Housing Authority. And I believe there's a law attached to that land which requires 26 single-family homes. Now, if there's a way to amend the law, because it is a big piece of land, or find out multiple uses for that property, that could be a potential way to solve the problem down the road. But I do believe that there will be more rental income opening up as more of the apartments are built in the city of Fall River, and I think that that's going to be a natural cycle that gives us an opportunity to both lower rents and have more opportunities for people to move into the community and get an apartment in Fall River.
You better be a little careful there, because the rich get richer. You give them a little apartment. What is he going to do? Pay all his income for that little apartment, that get the average apartment where a person could live normally, that and balance it as much as possible. Because if you start making too many small apartments, we'll be assigned our casket to live in for the night. I don't think we're going to like that very much. That how could you raise a family in the casket? Bye. Thank you.
So it's been my plan from the beginning. I've said this in every interview when I first started. I've said this in every debate. I would rather give the tax breaks and the zoning changes and the whatever we need to the average everyday homeowner to be able to not only build on their own property and their own land, create generational wealth for their family, but when you're doing that, not only are you adding more living space that's more cost effective, where they're building these houses at 300, say 400,000, even on the high end, you're not paying $1 million mortgage. So your rents can be lower on these properties already. So that already helps with the lowering of the rents. That property, unlike market rate housing, also provides taxes and income to the city. So that should also alleviate a lot of the pressure on the taxpayers. Considering 30% of the population pays 100% of the tax bill, which is the homeowners already, I think it's time that we start taking care of them and give them options. So now you have 2 properties on one dwelling, fine. Maybe you get a tax break on the one you already have because now you're paying for 2. You're still increasing the income to the city, you're helping with rental issues, you're helping with the homelessness issues because those rents don't have to be $2,500, $3,000 a month because it didn't cost you that. You know, everybody says, oh, well, you know, our costs keep going up. Great. This is my way of helping you make sure your costs go down. And in doing so, I expect in return, you help out the citizens, you help out the city, you help out your family, all at the same time. There's no reason to charge $6,000 a month for three families when it's costing you $1,200. You don't need to quadruple your money. Making money, profit, benefit, generational wealth, I'm all for it. But we don't need to rip everybody off and get rich off everybody we meet. Unfortunately, we have too many people doing that already.
Okay, this question is to you first, Paul Coogan. And then it'll be Michael Vandell, then Boomer, and then Carlos. What steps will you take to create safe classroom environments for teachers, staff, and students, while also providing the right support for students who face behavioral challenges?
In the Fall River Public Schools, we actually hired the same system that they use to go into Gillette stadiums. It's called Evolve. You have to pass through it on your way in, and they're just very high-tech metal detectors. At the New Durfee, there's close to 400 or 500 cameras. We have extensive staffing, both in the halls with our increased SROs and our security teams. But that goes throughout the district. This week, I had the pleasure of going down to the RPA. They have a new principal there. She has a lot of energy, and she's trying to do right by those kids. She had, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd floor was the middle school, and up above was a high school program. There's 160 kids there that we're desperately trying to coach up so they can return to the high school. And the criteria we use is extremely simple: attendance, academics, and conduct. If they're sent to an alternative school, it's their responsibility to work their way back. But with that being said, we have to have the right amount of counselors, the right amount of partners. We met this week to go with our PASS program, which gives kids another alternative to suspension. That's at the Boys Club. If you get caught with marijuana or any kind of drugs in the school, we'll fund your time down there where you'll get some counseling, you'll get some workshops, and we'll try to coach those kids up. Matter of fact, we have kids in that school from Diamond and our alternative schools. So conduct in the Fall River Public Schools is taken very seriously. Do we have kids that need more support? Absolutely. We do the best we can with over 11,000 kids. I compliment the Fall River Public Schools teaching staff because they work extremely hard every day to both keep your students safe and do the best they can to educate them. It's a total mind and body experience, and it's not going to let go this year. We're going to work as hard as we can across the board to help all of our students. Thank you.
This is the question which somebody already would experience already. To keep the morale up, to have communication among different parts of the school system, even a radio announcement from the mayor. How was the school? How could we improve it? Things like that. That when you're talking deeply embedded answers from experience, you're talking direct answers. How to handle the police, what do they do, all their equipment. But from the heart, it would be the communication between the mayor and the school department. That make sense? I'll let you be. Bye.
So the criteria must be really strict because we're averaging maybe 5 to 10 kids coming from RPA going back into the school system. They're put there and placed there and they're forgotten there. Not by the staff that's there. That staff is amazing. They're doing that. Once they're there, it's an act of Congress to get them back into school. It's not as simple as it was put across. I have the paperwork on that. I have the fact that they're under a DOJ investigation right now. So it's not true. However, the cameras in Durfee, most of them don't work, and I know firsthand. And I know why, because I'm the one who took them to court for the sexual assaults. That's not true. They're not as safe as they pretend to be. The bottom line is right now, the money's being put to family and friends, administrations, and administrators and big paying jobs. Our teachers are understaffed, our classrooms are overpacked and understaffed, and the money's going the wrong way. Money right now is being put in friends, family, administrators, maybe teachers, then the students. It needs to be reversed. The money needs to go back in the classroom to the students. Go back in the classroom where the teachers need the help the most. You have kids in there throwing computers, violent, hitting each other. And I'm talking low grades. I'm not talking high school kids for RPA and things like that. I'm talking kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I have the pictures, I have the videos, I have the evidence. It's there. So the teachers are doing their best. They are fantastic, but they're understaffed and not staying here for many reasons. They don't have the support, they don't have the funding, they don't have the help in the classroom, and that's where I plan to put the money. We don't need 15 vice principals and department heads in a district this and a district that. We don't need it. We have a district standard for every grade level. That's all you need is a department head for that grade level. We don't need one in every school. We don't need all these six-figure salaries. When I went through the school budget, it was about $28 million in excess spending. We don't need it.
Well, I'm not going to give you an answer of a vice principal, but I can give you an answer as a bus driver. And believe me, what I hear from the kids and the struggles they have in school, I have a chance to talk to some teachers, and they're struggling. They have way too many kids in one class for one teacher. That's why I support the paraprofessionals, because that's a big big help for the teachers. Attendance, still a problem. You know, remember that we're still recovering from COVID, but still a big problem, the attendance. And then the suspensions too. I bring a kid in the morning, on the afternoon I'm waiting for the kid is not coming out, he's suspended. And believe me, that helps a lot. So, with the funds, I said it before and I'm going to repeat it, and I keep repeating myself. Buildings don't teach kids. Teachers teach kids. That's where the money needs to go to. It's to the classes and to help as much as we can help the teachers to help our kids. That's what the money should go to.
Excellent answers. So we'll start with Michael and then move to Boomer and forward. So continuing along the same lines that we just talked about, and it's excellent, how would your administration support the retention and in the Fall River school system and the additional special education teachers necessary for the problem kids?
I'd have to be in that office to assess that myself firsthand. Like everyone else, if you don't work in education, you're not going to have that advantage of looking at that, okay? So that's a question to ask someone who has experience, that not everyone works for the school system. That make sense? But you expect the mayor to be an expert in everything. I don't think so. That the mayor could have a good heart. That's where that's going to come from. Follow me? Because there's going to be a lot of communication interpersonally between the school department and the mayor. Correct? So we'd say trial and error all the way. That make sense? Bye.
So the question is like, how would your administration support the recruitment and retention of teachers? Okay.
I got it. Thank you. I spent 16 of my 19 years working in recruiting and retention. It's what I do for a living. It's what I've done for a living. If I can sell war, I'm positive I can sell an education, okay? For me, it's listening. Most of these teachers are just not being heard. They're being overridden by those in charge because they were handed positions. These are the specialists. These are the people dealing with our kids. I have a child in SPED. I got it. I have a child who was in a great classroom. His teacher knew more than the person running the program, but they refused to listen to her. So I have a feeling that we're putting the wrong people in charge. That's first and foremost. And his teacher made him successful. Wasn't me. I mean, I'm sure I helped, but wasn't me. It wasn't the administration. It wasn't their team. It was his teacher who made all the sense in the world, and they just ignored him based on who his family was. He's a foster child. He's going to be adopted. So they knew his family, and they associated him with that. So there's a lot of biases. Listening to these teachers, listening to these special educators and what they actually need. Like I said, we're under DOJ investigation for ignoring special education. That's a problem. That tells me that nobody's really listening. Nobody's doing what needs to be done for these kids. You have to listen to them. Recognition and reward as well. You have to take care of our teachers. You have to take care of these people. You can't just expect, well, this is what you paid for to do. This is your contract, go and do it. It's the wrong answer. If people don't feel wanted, they don't feel needed, they don't feel appreciated, why would you want to stay here? When you can go to a small town and not deal with half the issues we deal with and get paid more, probably. Teachers go to teach. They're not going to teach because they're making millions of dollars. Teachers go to teach because they love to teach and they want to help kids. That's the bottom line. We have to start respecting that and start treating them and taking care of them for doing that, because most of us couldn't handle it. I have 6 kids at home. I don't know how she's doing it with 30. So I give her all the credit in the world. I will help her to the T's. That I promise. Thank you.
Yes, support the teachers is very important. And I think that the problem we have in Fall River is the security of jobs. A lot of these teachers, they always, year to year, they don't know if they're going to have a job or not. So I think that we need to give more support to the teachers. We need to invest. If we want to invest in the kids' education, it has to be in the classroom. So we need to invest on the teachers. A teacher, they do their job because that's a hard job. And they are doing that job because they love to. They don't mind to go and shop if they want to do something special in the classroom that the city don't pay for. They have no issue. I know a lot of teachers. They love what they do. They love the kids. They go and they buy out of their own pocket the stuff to bring to the kids to the tech too. So that's why I'm saying we need to put more money into teachers, bring and give them security job, because no teacher is going to leave another place, another town, to come to Fall River and be insecure if they have their job the following year. I think that's the problem we have in Fall River, and we need to put that to bed and give the teachers more support.
Well, a couple things on this issue. When we talk about administrators or administration in any building, that's all former teachers. These are teachers that have moved up the ladder and now are in a leadership role, so they know what goes on in almost all cases in the classroom. Last year, when we were negotiating with our teachers union, we floated some additional stipends to bring in some hard-to-fill special education positions. I believe that's something we should be doing. I don't even know if that went through or not, Keith. I'm trying to remember. It did. So we offer our special needs teachers an additional stipend on top of their regular pay because those positions are extremely hard to fill. We also gave our teachers a significant increase in pay. Is it all we wanted to give them? Of course not, because our teachers should be on level playing fields with anybody. But I can assure you from the contracts when I was there, it was significant, and it's moving our people in the right direction. Is there more work to do? Absolutely. But there is a real shortage of people across the country going into teaching programs. So we look for other ways to bring people in on a waiver, on a degree, something we can use to get them into a classroom in front of kids and then see how they do. And as far as layoffs go for teachers because they're not going to have a job, I haven't seen that in a while in the Fall River Public Schools. Do teachers not come back? Do teachers lose their jobs? Absolutely. But it's not because of financial issues. There's other issues involved when a teacher leaves. My position is you're in front of kids, you're working as part of a team. All of our schools are team-based, and we want to get the best for our teachers, and we want them to do a great job for our kids, and they know I support them 100%. Thank you.
This next question will start with you, Gabriel. Which is your long-term vision for repairing and maintaining the city's infrastructure, including the parks and waterfront?
A long-term plan to fix the whole city. Again, I love the fact that you do that and put us on a time limit. So I have plans all the way from fixing Taunton River to working our way up to Kennedy Park being our very own central park, where it's self-sufficient, makes money, has year-round. Wintertime, we can do hot chocolate, food, things like that. We can have the ice skating rink year-round, bring back that living that we used to have. Opening the pool. Why do the kids down that end not have a pool? Why do we not have that? So I want vibrant, reality for our kids too, things to do. We're talking about keeping our kids off the streets, and there's nowhere for them to go. oh, well, we got Little League fields. Well, they're 16, 17, 18. They don't play on Little League fields. So we need things for them to actually go and do. And I think using, I mean, there's so much. Cleaning the river, I believe the mayor talked about it at a meeting about, the state said it's going to cost $1.2 billion to clean the river. Well, do you know that there's environmental grants that literally pay you to clean the river, and it doesn't cost you a dime? And I know because I've done it. So people who farm raise shellfish, aquaculture supply, those kind of things, they pay for that, and then they pay you to do it. But these are programs I want to bring into all of the schools, and not just Fall River schools, but say we got Durfee, Diamond. Now we have another trade to not only teach kids, but we can work with Somerset, Berkeley, Swansea. Everybody's on the water. Right now we allow dredging of the water. They take those shellfish, which are natural filtration systems. Does it clean it all? No. However, they take them, they bring them to the Cape, they clean them for a few months, then they sell them back to us at $4 a shell. And we buy them willingly, and we give it away, and we don't make a dime on it. These systems create the wealth. They bring in the money, they pay for the programs, and they're all on grants. It costs us nothing to create a whole nother educational program and help clean our rivers. So we can do this stuff all day, but I have an extensive plan. Unfortunately, 2 minutes is not long enough, as she's mad at me.
Well, I've been helping cleaning up for years and fixing parks for years. I was involved on the Father Travassos Park, which we got $2.5 million. I already forgot the money. We fixed, and all volunteers for this one. On the Quikasham Street, back then, 5 years ago, we fixed that park, was all volunteers. Even the fence was painted by volunteers with donations from the paint. So we've been out there for years trying to help. When it comes to I've been hearing now that it's rumors that they want to go privatize the parks, the park department. So I think it's a big mistake. Look where we are with the trash. When we go privatize, it's out of our hands. They do whatever they want. We lose the control. So I'm definitely against privatizing. And besides, it's jobs. We're always talking about bringing jobs to Fall River. Those people are going to lose jobs. So that's what I have for now.
We just in infrastructure in the city of Fall River. There is so much going on right now in the city. Go down Bedford Street. You're going to go down Columbia Street. These are streets that need high amounts of work. We're just finishing up the largest sidewalk contract I think could be in the city's history, over $400,000. We now have proposed roadway construction of almost $5.8 million, including Columbus, Charlotte, Charles, Hyacinth. Our parks, they've never looked better. Go by the pickleball courts at the bottom of Kennedy, packed. Go by the volleyball courts, whether it's on the old softball field or the ones we built for them on a weekend, they're busy. We're also working on a splash pad and maybe another dog park down there. Maplewood Park, we just refurbished the tennis courts. We put in lights. Our bathrooms are going to be open in there shortly. Columbus, we're working on a new playground installation. Abbott Court, we're doing our sensory playground. I know you read that story about the parent that wanted something for his kids. Well, Mike Dion and his crew are actively negotiating to get that done. Let's look at, if we go down to Flint, the Kathy Assad Tot Lot, completely renovated. The Damaris Playground, completely renovated. We put a half-court basketball court in there because that's all it would hold. Go a little further around the corner. We have our first girls softball complex in the history of the city, 3 fields there for the 3 age groups, so that if you go by there on the weekend, there's a ton of activity going on. We're putting a new splash pad, a new skateboard park in at Lafayette, and we have so much going on in the parks, from our summer concerts to activities to sports to leagues. We're going to bring our parks up to a standard that is going to make everybody in this city proud, and I will continue to work hard to do that if given another opportunity to serve as your mayor. Thank you.
You know, that's an in-house, true experience, on-the-job answer. I did very good in college. I did so good. I turned out to be the father of 2 medical fields. That trying to put together this, that's in-house, true experience, on the job. And you learn that through the job. You can't expect somebody with not having the experience to answer that question. I can tell you one thing. I'm the father of 2 medical fields, through the genetic code, coming from nowhere. This is crazy. How could you expect somebody to answer a question like that without any experience? This is not the Wizard of Oz. If you lose and you don't get a heart, you get little gifts. But the point is that that's a very, very on-the-job training to get that type of experience. I think I did very good in school in economics, in college. Bye. I think I had my time. Bye.
Outstanding answers. Thank you, everyone. So we're sticking with economic development. And this question is, how would your administration balance new development at the waterfront in Route 79 with protecting the public access and the interests of the existing residents? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. It goes to Carlos first, and then Mr. Coogan, Mike Vandal, and then Gabriel.
Okay. 79. What's the projects for 79? We don't know. I don't know what contract's being signed, who's buying the lands, who's going to develop the lands. So all this, it's information that's not public to the regular resident. Now, what I want to see on the waterfront, I grew up on the waterfront. So I know what the waterfront is supposed to be, what's supposed to look like, and how much money is supposed to bring into the city. Waterfront is, and this is our only and last opportunity to get entertainment for the residents of the city, to get tourism coming into our city, and to bring big revenue for our city. Market housing, I don't think it's going to bring, yes, they're going to pay $10 million or $10,000 in tax for a building, but they're going to pocket $100 million. So I don't think it's the answer for us. We need revenue, and that waterfront could bring millions of dollars into the city to help the taxpayers of the city. If we're going to just divide it, subdivide it, and give it to 3 people to become billionaires on our backs, I think that's what's going to happen, and that's what is on the plans right now, because we don't know anything about that. But that's our opportunity to get the most revenue for our city to help the taxpayers. I've been working with the team. I have people working, putting my ideas into the plan, and if the people give me the chance, next month, if I'm the top 2, those plans will come into the table for people to see them.
The waterfront is really coming along right now with the infrastructure work going on down there. If you had the opportunity to go to the Narrows concert that we did at the Norton Pier a few weeks back, we literally had people getting off the train with their beach chairs, walking across the access road and going to a concert on the waterfront where we had food trucks, beer and wine, music. The dock was full of boats where people came to our waterfront in a boat to enjoy the evening. This is the plan we need. A consistent plan with bike paths, green space, access to the river, trolleys, shuttle, the water taxi was running. This is how you're going to keep your waterfront vibrant and a spot for recreation. Look at what we have down there. Right now, we have Bicentennial Park with our Great Wall and our Veterans Monuments. You come a little further down, you have a great walking path along the front there to the Norton Pier. You go by the Cove, we have Heritage State Park leading into a carousel now that's active. There's people sitting at the Adirondack chairs on the weekends eating ice cream. It's starting to catch a little bit. That's how you build your waterfront. You make it a destination. We have restaurants going in. Primo's is doing well. The Narrows is having concert. These are the things we need to have in our waterfront to generate activity, to generate foot traffic, and get people coming to the city. If we can build that along with the housing and the things necessary, we're going to have a waterfront that's vibrant and people want to go to. And I have to go in the other room for a second, so that's where I'm going. I'm not leaving, so don't think I'm leaving. I'll be right back.
Another question and blank answer. That when you are there, you have different people walking in and out of that office all day long. They have planners. You're following rules and regulations. He knows where he stands. So as they're building all these infrastructure, it's not only the mayor that's putting that together. It's the planners too. So all the intellect is not coming from the mayor. So you can't come out with all these ideas and say that it's from the mayor. Do you understand what I'm saying? That and you may give a pretty picture, but the mayor doesn't have total control over that. Thank you.
So we don't even know who's getting approved to build on there yet. All those things that were mentioned, the restaurants down there, they just changed names. Those restaurants have already been there. The Narrows has already been there. All this stuff has been here. That's not coming with it. When we were sold on this project, we were sold on green space and usable waterfront and things for people to do, and now we're being forced to look at market rate housing. It always comes down to certain select investors, market rate housing, select investors, market rate housing. It never comes down to what's best for all of you. Are any of you planning to go pay $3,500 a month to go live on the water? I'm going to go with no. We're set where we are. So it's not for us. And that's the current plan. That's the reality. My reality is making it usable for everyone, keeping it open for everyone, activities for our citizens, whether it's the younger generation, elderly generation. I don't care if you throw a 50s diner in there somewhere. Do what we got to do. Let's make it usable. Let's have the voters say, give us the ideas. Let us plan it together. It belongs to Fall River. Let us sit here and plan it together. Let us come up with our top 10 options. Yes, we need business down there. Yes, we need innovative jobs in the city. Well, of course we do. I'd rather give them a TIF to go build on the water and have nice glass buildings on the side of a Top Golf and something to do. All for it. But I'm not going to give it to market rate housing. So my vision is everything. It's rooftop bars overlooking the water, overlooking the bridge. I mean, we don't have one. You can't get better than this. You're not going to get a better view anywhere. I still say our battleship view is the best in the state. Utilize it. But let's put it to good use without blocking it with a bunch of buildings for people that are going to limit the access, not give us more access. Right now, we have the same access we've always had. And when the Narrows has been there, the restaurants have been there, we've had it all. It's all there. They're not open till, what, maybe 1 or 2 days a week that they're open past 8 o'clock. There's nothing else for us to do. We need entertainment. We need to bring tourism here. We're not going to do that with housing.
This is going to be our final question. And we'll begin with Paul Coogan, move on to Michael, then Gabriel and Carlos. Do you support establishing a police chief's community advisory board as a way to promote accountability, transparency, and community input in public safety?
Oh, sorry. When I first got elected, we had police commissioners, which did some of the roles that Laura was describing, but they never met. They would take a check and get a badge, and we never saw them, so we ended up disbanding that group. And then, as things came on, if you notice, the police now have what they call POST, which is a evaluation team that looks for police misconduct and tries to make an assessment if those people should be continue to be policemen. I'm not against the police working with the community groups and any one of the neighborhoods in the city of Fall River. I think there should be open access across the board. Whether there's a formalized team or not is not going to be up to me. I'm not against it, but at the same time, I think it should be something that comes organically out of the community and works with our chief and his team to decide what's the best way to handle it. I think the Fall River Police are understaffed right now. They're doing a tremendous job. I think they are out there 24/7. They're one of the few groups in the city that never gets to take any time off. So at the same time, I would support them. As Laura said, I'm not against the community group. I just want to see what it looks like, what their role would be, what their duties are, and how best to serve the community.
Again, you're back into the same situation. You're asking questions through experience as being there. That I believe that when you have that job, you got people advising you, you get to know that area, and then you make decisions accordingly. But you're not going to have the inside of what he just said without being there yourself. That make sense? So it depends who comes in that office, and then your opinion going back and forth between, but I believe that there should be a strong police department that and good leadership, okay? But then again, you're asking a question that you already have to have experience dealing with already. That make sense? So if I was on the other end of the job and I knew nothing when I started, I would get to know the job when I do it. That make sense? It's like having your underwear inside out. It's ridiculous. Bye. Thank you.
Good? Thank you. Can you read that again, please? Thank you.
Do you support establishing a police chief's community advisory board as a way to promote accountability, transparency, and community input in public safety?
I do, in a sense. We are a very busy city. We are the top of the high crime cities in the state. So I do believe our communities know what they need in each different part, and we have the neighborhood associations for that. I think the heads or a directorate of each neighborhood association should get together once a month. I don't want to take all of the time away from the police chief as he or she is extremely busy in this city. So, but I do think an advisory board based on a person from each neighborhood association or something close to that, that can actually meet up. They all, you go to your meeting and you get, hey, these are the issues that we're having, these are the crimes. The police officers go and they go to the meetings and they can put all that stuff together, and then a week after that meeting, they should be able to accumulate enough questions and enough viable reasons why they should go to the chief and not just waste their time. We don't want to go in there and have excuse my language, a bitch fest, right? We want to go there and actually have viable reasons why they need to be here, where they need to be, where they're seeing their struggles. So I think that would be a good way to do it, consolidate it, and organize it without wasting a lot of time on both ends. So I do. I think the more involvement we have, communities involved, I think the better our streets will get. So I do believe in community activism. So we should actually absolutely have something like that.
I do believe, and I have the proofs. When Chief Rosine got chosen, I was one of the 5 people, the neighborhood groups that interviewed the chief. And believe it or not, was just an opinion, but the neighborhoods were involved. The presidents of the neighborhoods were involved. And that gave us such a faster way to get in touch with the chief. Our opinion was important to the chief. Neighborhood patrols, even the police, the bike team, they love to be in touch with the public. They love to be on the streets, talking to the people, playing with the kids. I have probably pictures on my Facebook, the events that the police got really engaged. And that's very important, because a regular person can just go to a police officer walking on the sidewalk and have a conversation with him. So I truly believe that, and it's very important, and I agree 100%. The community should have a table with the police departments and kind of work together. That's a win-win situation for the neighborhoods and for the police department.
All right, now it's time for closing statements. Each candidate will now have 2 minutes to make a closing statement. We'll begin with Michael Vandal, followed by Boomer Amaral, Carlos, and then Mayor Coogan.
I guess this is the last opportunity that I have to ask for your vote. I appreciate it if I could get your vote September 16th. In modern medicine, they would have got nowhere without patient zero. I'm patient zero, that's why I'm the father. So I guess if I walk in there, I know just about nothing. Let's see how I come out. I wish to have an opportunity to come there, and I appreciate your vote September 16th. Thank you.
I don't even know how to follow that. I'm sold. So, as you can see, there's no shortage of issues in the city. There isn't. Are there perfect answers for everything? Are we all going to go in there and snap our fingers and make the change? Like, everybody's going to be good to go tomorrow? No. These things are going to take time. It's going to take buy-in. It's going to take coordinating with departments. It's going to take some time. If the answers were there, I'm positive the mayor would have already done it. It's not that easy, okay? But I think he's had enough time to do so. And for us, we have the ideas, we have the vision, we have the ability to network, build teams. Like I said, I've worked with the military for 19 years. I build teams to go to war for you. I think I can build a team in City Hall to work for you. I'm just like you. I'm not here with any special skills, any crazy overeducated, nonsense that everybody thinks needs to be required. This is just common sense. These are everyday lives that need to have a better choice and a better option, a safer place to live, a safer school, a better education. These are all the things that we all want and need. And every single child deserves that. Every single taxpayer deserves that. It's not just a select few here. We can't do this anymore. We cannot afford it. $500 million, if any of you feel like you live in a $500 million city, let me know. Not one hand. $300 million school system, and we're ranked 320 out of 356. If you think that that's acceptable, let me know. Anyone? Okay, so if you're not better off today than you were 6 years ago, it's time for change. And I want to be that change. Please vote for me. Thank you.
First of all, you are the taxpayers, the residents of the city, are the reason that finally I'm running for office for the first time. And the only time, I can guarantee you, because only takes once. I don't have to keep coming back. If the taxpayers don't agree with me, don't vote for me, I don't have to come back again. But why I'm running? I'm running because, and I'm the only candidate that wants to do a forensic audit. A $240 million budget increase in 5 years, it's a crime. It needs to be investigated as a crime. I'm the only one on this table that will go for a forensic audit. Our fire department and our police, it's understaffed. $2 million short on the health department, $3 million short on our trash. Our schools are failing. We are in a dictatorship. Retaliation is the #1 thing on the city. I had people afraid to sign my papers to run for office. I have people afraid to put signs on their houses. Retaliation is going on, not just on the top floor, but in other floors too. Just watch last night's city council meeting. You're going to be my first priority. I will not, and I will never make a decision that it's not good for me. I have a Portuguese mother. If it's not good for me, it's not good for my sons. And that's my idea. If it's not good for me, it's not good for you. And I will not sell something that's not good. You will be my priority going forward. I need your help. Please vote for me on September 16.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I also want to thank UIA and Good Shepherd for hosting this very, very important night of dialogue. I've been mayor for 6 years, and I think politics is all about relationships, how we treat people and what we do to build a city. When we look at what's gone on in our city over the last 6 years, you can judge us by how we handle COVID. How did we handle the Gabriel House fire? How do we handle some small storms? And then judge us by what we leave as our legacy. Diamond, the train, Route 79, Durfee, our waterfront. These are all things that people working with me, with our elected officials, with our unions, with our residents, with everyone are working and striving hard to make Fall River a better place to live. I will not run this city down under any conditions. When you hear candidates say the city is failing, who's failing? Is it the concrete? The asphalt? The steel? Or is he referring to the people? Fall River is not failing. We are a gateway city in Massachusetts that's working extremely hard with our schools, with our public safety, with our residents to pull this city up. And if you want to go down a darker path, vote for one of the other guys up here. But I will remain positive. I will do the best to build this city back up, and I will work tirelessly to make sure that what goes into this city is what's best for this city, what's best for the residents, and what's best to make Fall River a better place to live. Again, thank you everybody for coming out tonight, and I hope you'll consider me on September 16th. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Now is the time for a call to action. With that, Al Arujo.
I am so proud to be here as a resident of Fall River with such outstanding candidates for our mayor. And I'm so proud to be able to host you guys here. What a respectful crowd. I mean, this is great. I get to finish up with a call to action. We heard about the statistics at the beginning of the meeting that only 19% of our population voted in the previous election for mayor. We need to do better than that. I mean, these guys deserve at least us going to the polls and casting a vote. I mean, they're wonderful, they're tremendous. We have a vote card out here at our front desks. Please, grab one of these. We will send you the card to make sure that we get out the vote. We will remind you to please vote. It's really important. There's nothing more important in our society and in our democracy than to cast our vote. I mean, we really need you to get out there and do it. And get your friends, too. So with that, I guess I can say this one last thing. They want me to say this. We need to get our souls to the polls.
Thanks a lot, Al. All right, before we go, I would like to invite Reverend Jim Hornsby from St. Luke's Episcopal Church to end us in a faith reflection. Reverend Jim.
It's wonderful to hear people talk about important things. My faith is that of Jesus. I try to be a Jesus follower, and Jesus did not waste time. Jesus greeted people and did things to heal, to support. Some of our parish also follow Buddha, and I am also a member of the Buddhist temple, which usually surprises folks. And the Buddha gave a similar message, which was a person is judged not by what he thinks and not by what he says, but how he reaches out and helps and supports others. In this day of a tragic killing, we see the reverse. And so tonight, I pray for the candidates. I pray for those who will be elected, and I pray for those who are in office now. in our city, our state, our national government. And I pray most of all for you and for me, the voters. So go forth in peace, work for justice, work for reconciliation. Reach out, be strong, be active. Go in peace towards justice. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Jim. Thank you. All right. I want to wrap things up here by, first of all, would like to thank all of the candidates for being here with us tonight. Thank you also to the sponsoring organizations that made tonight possible. United Interfaith Action of Southeastern Mass and the Coalition for Social Justice Education Fund. Thank you to Good Shepherd Parish for hosting us and feeding us. Chris Bianchi for sound, Fall River Community Media for recording and going live on social media. And thank you as participants for taking the time out to come out for our forum and watching online. Good night, everybody, and have a safe trip home.